Jessica Biel occupies a rare and increasingly valuable place in modern Hollywood, defined not by spectacle or excess, but by steadiness, discernment, and a deeply rooted sense of authenticity. From the beginning of her career to her most recent work, she has cultivated a public presence that feels intentional rather than reactive, thoughtful rather than performative. Biel has never relied on constant reinvention or manufactured controversy to remain visible. Instead, she has allowed her career to unfold gradually, shaped by curiosity, discipline, and an evolving understanding of herself as both an artist and an individual. This approach has given her a quiet authority, one that resonates not because it demands attention, but because it earns trust through consistency, restraint, and emotional intelligence. Early beginnings and the foundations of craft. Jessica Biel first entered the public consciousness through Seventh Heaven, a series that placed her in the spotlight at a formative age and introduced audiences to her ability to convey sincerity and emotional nuance. While the role brought visibility, it also required discipline, consistency, and maturity beyond her years, teaching her how to navigate long-term storytelling and ensemble work. These early experiences became less about instant stardom and more about understanding the rhythms of acting, the responsibility of representation, and the importance of showing up prepared. Rather than defining her permanently, this chapter served as a foundation, one that equipped her with resilience and an appreciation for gradual, skill-based growth. Choosing growth over familiarity. As she moved beyond her early success, Biel made a series of deliberate choices that reflected a desire for longevity rather than comfort. She stepped away from roles that offered safety and familiarity, and instead pursued characters that demanded emotional risk and psychological depth. This period of transition was not about rejecting her past, but expanding her range, signaling her intention to be seen as a serious and evolving actor. By embracing complexity and uncertainty, she demonstrated an understanding that meaningful careers are built through exploration rather than repetition, and that growth often requires the courage to be misunderstood along the way. Redefining public perception. Public perception can be difficult to reshape, especially for actors who begin their careers at a young age, yet Biel approached this challenge with patience rather than resistance. Instead of aggressively rebranding herself, she allowed her work to speak gradually, trusting that thoughtful choices would shift understanding over time. Each new role added dimension, revealing a performer interested in ambiguity, emotional restraint, and internal conflict. This slow, deliberate recalibration reinforced her credibility, showing that evolution does not need to be loud to be effective, only honest and consistent. Versatility as a quiet strength. One of the most enduring qualities of Jessica Biel's career is her versatility, which manifests not as constant transformation, but as adaptability across tone, genre, and emotional register. She has moved seamlessly between film, television, and limited series, never becoming confined to a single narrative identity. Her performances demonstrate an attentiveness to character psychology rather than surface traits, allowing her to inhabit roles that feel lived in and grounded. This flexibility has enabled her to sustain relevance across changing industry landscapes without sacrificing coherence or authenticity. The impact of The Sinner. Biel's work in The Sinner marked a defining moment in her career, revealing a willingness to engage deeply with complex psychological material. Her performance relied on subtlety rather than spectacle, using stillness, silence, and emotional restraint to convey inner turmoil. Rather than guiding the audience toward easy conclusions, she trusted viewers to sit with discomfort and ambiguity. This approach reinforced her reputation as an actor who values intelligence and emotional realism, and it demonstrated how depth can be more compelling than overt dramatization. An approach rooted in subtlety. In an entertainment culture often driven by immediacy and excess, Biel's preference for subtlety feels both intentional and refreshing. She does not rely on exaggerated gestures or attention-seeking narratives to maintain relevance. Instead, her presence is defined by composure, attentiveness, and a willingness to let moments unfold naturally. This understated approach creates space for authenticity, allowing audiences to connect with her work and public persona without distraction. Subtlety, in her case, becomes a form of confidence rather than restraint. Style as an extension of self. Jessica Biel's approach to style mirrors her broader philosophy: intentional, thoughtful, and grounded in self-awareness. Her fashion choices do not seek to dominate attention but to complement her presence, emphasizing clarity and proportion over novelty. Whether appearing on a red carpet or in a casual public setting, she gravitates toward clean lines and balanced silhouettes that feel reflective of her personality. This consistency reinforces the idea that style, when rooted in authenticity, becomes a form of self-expression rather than performance. Fashion without performance. What distinguishes Biel's fashion sensibility is her understanding that clothing communicates without needing to overwhelm. She balances classic elements with contemporary design, demonstrating respect for craftsmanship and context. Even when wearing statement pieces, her overall presentation remains composed and cohesive. Rather than using fashion as armor or spectacle, she allows it to support her presence, reinforcing the idea that confidence comes from alignment rather than excess. The language of body awareness. Biel's public appearances often reveal a strong sense of physical awareness, not in a performative way, but through posture, movement, and ease. This awareness contributes to her overall presence, signaling comfort in her own space and attentiveness to her surroundings. Such body language conveys confidence without assertion, reminding viewers that self-assurance can be communicated quietly through composure and groundedness rather than overt display. Confidence without confrontation. Jessica Biel's confidence does not announce itself loudly or demand validation. It exists independently, evident in her ability to remain composed under scrutiny and grounded amid shifting cultural expectations. This form of confidence is neither defensive nor performative. It reflects an internal stability shaped by experience and self-knowledge. By resisting the urge to constantly explain or justify herself, she reinforces credibility through calm consistency. Glamour with purpose. When Biel embraces glamour, it is always intentional and measured. Her most striking appearances feel cohesive rather than theatrical, with each element contributing to an overall sense of balance. Fabric, movement, and silhouette work together to create harmony rather than competition. This approach reframes glamour as an extension of self-respect and clarity, demonstrating that elegance does not require exaggeration to be impactful. Navigating visibility and privacy. Despite her public profile, Biel has maintained a thoughtful balance between engagement and privacy, understanding that boundaries are essential for sustainability. She participates in public life without allowing it to consume her identity, choosing when and how to be visible. This balance supports both her creative work and personal well-being, contributing to a demeanor that feels present, unhurried, and grounded. Her ability to set limits reinforces the idea that longevity is built as much on restraint as on opportunity. Expanding creative influence beyond acting, Biel has expanded her influence through producing and wellness-oriented ventures, reflecting a broader curiosity about storytelling and human experience. These pursuits reveal a desire to contribute meaningfully rather than simply participate, aligning professional choices with personal values. By supporting projects that explore nuance and care, she reinforces her credibility as a creative force invested in substance rather than visibility alone. Leadership through collaboration. As a producer, Biel demonstrates leadership rooted in collaboration rather than control. She approaches creative partnerships with respect for diverse perspectives, fostering environments where stories can develop thoughtfully. This collaborative mindset reflects emotional intelligence and an understanding that meaningful work often emerges from shared vision rather than individual dominance. Her leadership style mirrors her public presence: calm, intentional, and grounded in trust. Motherhood and Perspective Motherhood has added a profound layer of perspective to Biel's life, influencing how she approaches time, work, and personal priorities. While she does not center her public identity on this role, its impact is evident in her grounded presence and thoughtful decision making. Parenthood has reinforced her appreciation for balance, patience, and long term fulfillment, qualities that subtly shape both her professional choices and public demeanor. Timelessness over trends. What ultimately defines Jessica Biel's enduring appeal is her resistance to being shaped by trends. She does not chase relevance through constant reinvention or calculated exposure. Instead, she allows her evolution to unfold organically, guided by curiosity and self reflection. This approach creates a sense of timelessness, an ability to remain compelling without contradiction or excess. Her career reflects continuity rather than disruption, reinforcing trust and longevity. Influence through example. Biel's influence operates quietly, through example rather than proclamation. She demonstrates that success does not require spectacle and that integrity can coexist with ambition. By valuing balance, authenticity, and thoughtful expression, she offers an alternative model of achievement, one rooted in consistency and respect for craft. This influence may be subtle, but it is enduring, shaping perception through lived values rather than statements. The art of presence. Perhaps the most defining aspect of Jessica Biel's public life is her understanding of presence. She occupies space with attentiveness rather than dominance, engaging fully with the moment at hand. This presence transcends appearance, creating a sense of connection that feels genuine and unforced. Whether on screen or in conversation, her self-possession elevates the experience, reminding audiences that true impact often comes from awareness rather than display. A legacy of intentional living. As her career continues to evolve, Jessica Biel's legacy is taking shape as one rooted in intention and integrity. She has shown that longevity is built through thoughtful choices, respect for craft, and alignment between values and action. Her journey reflects a belief that influence emerges not from constant visibility, but from consistency and self-trust. This legacy extends beyond roles or fashion moments, residing instead in how she has navigated public life with balance, clarity, and purpose. Conclusion: confidence as a quiet strength. Jessica Biel's story ultimately illustrates that confidence does not need volume to be powerful. Her career, style, and public presence reveal a woman who understands herself and moves through the world with intention rather than urgency. By valuing authenticity over spectacle and growth over comfort, she has built a form of influence that feels both grounded and enduring. In a culture often drawn to noise, her quiet strength stands as a reminder that presence, when rooted in self-awareness and integrity, can be one of the most compelling forces of all. Jessica Biel represents a model of modern influence defined by restraint, authenticity, and confidence that does not seek validation. Her career, style, and public presence illustrate that strength can be quiet, elegance can be intentional, and beauty can be multidimensional. By embracing growth without abandoning self-knowledge, she has created a lasting presence that feels both aspirational and relatable. In a culture often driven by immediacy, her example reminds us that true impact is built slowly, through consistency, clarity, and an unwavering commitment to being oneself.